Hi.
I'm Jen.
I'm Corey.
We are
Corey and Jen do stuff.
Thanks for being here. Welcome back. If you're new to our channel, welcome. It's nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Please like and subscribe and smash
the bell.
What are we doing today?
This is pretty much going to be a Jen video.
It's a Jen video. Because Jen wanted to brag a little. Not really. Jen wanted to tell you. Because I'm kind of going through withdrawals right now. Really bad. Because of stupid COVID. And the downfall of gatherings. And conventions with like-minded people. And being able to go and have discussions with artists and learn about new and exciting stuff.
Interactions.
Yes. And I know I had mentioned it in previous videos, if you guys have seen any of those, that I went to Denver Comic-Con in 2018 and absolutely fell in love. It was my first Comic-Con. My best friend, Chris, took me. She had been to one before. I had never been to one. And we both liked the same stuff. We're big Harry Potter nerds. She is huge into comic books and Batman and stuff like that. So she's like, come with me. Let's go. It'll be fun. And it was amazing. And we didn't even get to do everything we wanted to do. It was 3 days. Denver Comic-Con's a little different than other Comic-Cons because obviously after that one I was a little obsessed and wanted to go again to more. But Denver Comic-Con's actually put on by a teachers association, and a lot of it is instructional. Like they have a whole area for little kids where they can go in and learn about drawing and acting and electronics and technology and a lot of stuff having to do with comics and comic book characters and things like that, which I thought was really awesome. I didn't bring my kiddo, who was 16 at the time. He probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as I did because I'm a big kid. But so a lot of the prices are a lot less expensive because it's put on by a non-profit. So I thought it was amazing. It was so much fun. I learned a ton. I got to speak to a lot of female artists and female creators about the industry and their experience with the industry and things like that, which I was really interested in. I got to meet a few actors and talk to a few actors, and I wanted to share with you some of my interactions and funny stories and a couple of my autographs that I got. Those are very expensive. I will say off the top, I saved for months and months. That was my phone. I saved a lot of money because they announce about 4 months in advance who all's going to be there, from artists and authors and creators and actors, who's going to be there, and you can actually start booking about 2 months before, and things sell out really quickly. So my friend Chris had told me about this stuff, so I'm like, all right, I'm a planner and preparer anyway. Corey can attest to that, especially with our little vacations and things that we go on. I like want to know everything. I'm always researching. So
I fly by the seat of my pants.
He does. We make a good pair, because if my plans don't go the way I think they're supposed to go, he's right there. He's like, yeah, let's go do this. It works out. Yeah. So I can't wait to do a Comic-Con or some sort of con with him, which I think now it's not Comic-Cons anymore. It's like pop culture something. Denver pop culture something. Yeah. I missed the one in 2019 because they decided to do it over Memorial Day weekend and I couldn't get time off, which kind of stunk. And then of course, this year's was actually scheduled for the 4th of July, and COVID kind of killed that. Mm-hmm. So, and I was just thinking about it. It is October when we're taping this. I'm not sure when it'll go up. Maybe right away, maybe not. depending
I'll throw
on
it up
how
right
long-winded
after
I
this.
get. I will like try to cut it short. But I was feeling a little nostalgic because I had hardcore researched New York Comic Con. I really, really, really wanted to go last year because October is a much easier time for me to get time off from work. So I had started making plans and really wanted to go and couldn't go, obviously, for other reasons. It's now October and I was started thinking about everything being canceled and I was sad, and I'm like, well, let's make a video and I'll talk about Denver and make me feel a little bit better and hopefully maybe get you guys excited for
Post-COVID gatherings.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And I just started hearing about horror cons. I'm like, what is this? Anyways, so the first thing I want to show you, I do not have the artist's name. So I thought she put it on the back. She did. She autographed it, but I can't read it, and I cannot remember from 2 years ago what her name was. She is amazing. She had a whole booth of postcards she drew. Is awesome. So this is Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter. This is her version of Luna and how she managed her. And it has her Patronus down here, and it has a Thestral.
No shoes.
No shoes, her glasses. Like, I fell in love with this, obviously, because Luna's my favorite character in Harry Potter. But just the artist's rendering of her, I thought was an amazing, amazing feat. I just absolutely love it. And it has her shoes hanging at the bottom.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's carrying a quibbler. It's just, I love it. I love it so much. So, one of the first persons I met actually was, I know we're a family channel, but this guy is super stinking funny. And I was wearing a Harry Potter shirt the night I met him. And I'm going to have to grab my cell phone and look up his name because I cannot for the life of me remember his name.
I'll put it down below.
Okay. So, or you guys can tell me down below because I'm sure as soon as I show you the picture, you'll know who he is. Chris, if you're watching this, you can smack me later. It's one of her favorite people. He's in Doctor Who. And he likes to wear a dress when he's talking to people, like presenting. And he's the funniest dude. So Chris and I went up. He was super duper late. Like, he was stuck in traffic. He was so late. And this was the first night of the con. And oh my goodness, he was running so late. We stood in line and waited. We were probably fifth in line waiting for him. And his people, some of his people and the people volunteering at Comic-Con were there, and they were updating us like every 5 minutes. Like John Barrowman was calling. I knew I would remember. And he kept calling from his car service and was like, I'm at this street, I'm almost there. I'm at this street, I'm almost there. And it was just so funny that this is my first experience at a con and this dude's late and we're waiting for him. And he's like, he would call and be like, please don't leave. I'm on my way. I'm going to be there and I'm going to stay and talk and meet every one of you. Like, he was amazing. So anyways, we got up front and he was completely amazing. He, was hugging everybody, and he came up and hugged me right away, and he made fun of my Harry Potter shirt. He's like, I'm not Harry Potter, right? I was like, yes, I am well aware. Thanks. I said, but I don't have a John Barrowman shirt. And he's like, well, we'll have to make sure that you get one. I never did because I didn't see him again the rest of the weekend, but it was cool. Anyways, he was funny. And I got this picture from Doctor Who. So they have multiple 8x10s, and you go choose one. You don't pay for it. You pay for the autograph. And he put my name up there, Jenn. And love you, John Barrowman. And he was so awesome. He was hilarious. But he was really late. John, if you're watching, I I know you won't watch, but I love you. And then later, I went and saw this gentleman who looked really small and old and frail, which is the complete opposite of his character. One of my favorite characters ever, Hellboy and Clay from Sons of Anarchy.
I never watched Sons of Anarchy.
I have watched all of them, mostly for Jax, but Clay is freaking awesome. And Family Channel, but kids, close your ears. He's a badass. But he looks so super small and old and frail behind the table. I was like, what is going on? I was kind of sad. But he was super sweet. Didn't take much time, but I asked him how he was doing and just if he was having a good time and things like that. And he was very interactive and very nice. And this is the picture he signed for me. He even put Clay at the bottom. Mr. Ron Perlman. I know all Comic-Cons usually have at least, 2 or 3 big name, or they try to. They have these big name people. San Diego Comic-Con is known for having all the big names. London Comic-Con or UK Comic Fest, or I forget what it's called. They have all the big names. New York Comic-Con doesn't have all of them, but has a lot of them. So Denver Comic-Con, being as small and non-profit as it is, usually have 1 or maybe 2 semi-big names to draw people in, right? They want to get people in the door, sell those tickets. It was $85 for 3 days.
That's not bad.
That's cheap. I thought that was probably super, the least expensive ever. Because San Diego Comic-Con was $135 a day, 1 day. But a lot more people, a lot more presenters, a lot more artists. This is very much small scale, right? Mm-hmm. Denver Comic-Con in 2018 got Jason Momoa.
Jenn's
Oh, I'm gonna cry.
future ex-husband.
No, I don't love him that much, but he is really pretty to look at. Just saying, ladies, come on now. And any of my friends watching, I know you know how I feel about Jason Momoa. Because some of you dared me to touch his butt. Because I was going to be in the same room with him.
Did you touch his butt?
We were not dating yet.
Did you touch his butt?
I did touch his butt.
She did. Of course she did.
Of course I did. This is me and Jason Momoa. And I slid my hand down and touched his butt because they dared me to. I had to. Sorry.
Look how tall he is.
Yeah. This is my short self. Short and round, right? That's me.
I mean, I
And
only come up to here. That dude towers over me.
Was so sweet.
I have no chance.
So I was the very first person to get my picture taken with him. Now they give you 3 seconds to prepare something. And I don't know if any of you look up Jason Momoa Comic-Con photos, because he does some really funny stuff with people, especially couples. He'll push away the husband and hug on to the wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. It's hilarious to see, and they did quite a few when I was there. Yeah, it was awesome. But so I had my picture taken with him. It was $100. And then I had to go stand in line for an hour and a half to get him to sign it a little later in the afternoon. That was $100. So this is my $200 photo with Jason Momoa. And it will stay under my pillow for the rest of my... Just kidding.
Was it worth it?
It hangs... It was worth it. He spent a lot of time with everyone in line getting autographs, because he's very humble, in my opinion, just from what I spent, maybe a minute with him during the photo, because they take a couple and you get to choose. And then you get about 30 seconds to a minute when you're waiting for him to autograph that you can ask questions. And I admire him because of just how much he expresses his love for his wife and his kids. So that's what we talked about. Like, our interaction was, I asked him, where his kids and his wife were, and, how they were doing and things like that. And he was so responsive. He was having so much fun with the kids in line behind me. As soon as I was done, they ran up there, and oh my goodness, he was just so good with them. Because you don't have to do both. That's why I have 2 pictures with Jason, because since I got my picture taken with him, you can bring things for them to sign, or they all have their 8x10s laid out. And like the little kids behind me had some Aquaman figurines that he signed the package for them. But you can also take an 8x10. He won't sign it unless you pay the extra $100, because you get one signature for that $100. But that's why I got the extra 8x10. I'm like, heck yeah, I'm going to take some Aquaman 8x10.
I would have had him teach me some Dothraki.
But there you go. He totally would have. Oh yeah, everybody was, yeah. He was super cool though. I had an interaction with the new gentleman that plays Chewbacca. I'm sorry, I cannot remember your name. I know you're not watching this, but I can't think of his name.
I just know Peter Mayhew.
Yeah, it wasn't Peter Mayhew. He was a super tall blonde guy. But he was really, really nice. Like, I can't remember. I think Chris had went to the restroom, and I was standing there by myself, and I was holding all of our crap. Like, just standing there holding all of our stuff. And he's like, hey, you need some help with that? And he was just walking around. I'm like, no, I'm good. But then we talked for a minute, and he was super nice. I did not get an interaction with Val Kilmer. He was there. We saw him. He looked sickly. He was not nice. So he walked by us and wouldn't acknowledge anyone. He literally had people surrounding him so you could barely see him. He
strikes me as that type of guy.
Yeah, and then so everyone else just had a booth with a curtain behind them. And so you could walk by the booths and see them. Oh, we saw David Tennant. His line was 3 hours long. We didn't wait in line for David Tennant, and I'm kicking my own rear end right now. And Rose, the girl that played Rose, was there. Those are the 2 huge, besides obviously John Barrowman, but they were the 2 huge Doctor Who people there. So you could walk by and see the celebrities sitting there, right? Except for Val Kilmer. He made them put a curtain up in front of his booth and behind and on the side. So he was in a little box. So you couldn't see him unless he was coming or going. And that even at that, you kind of had to be back. So we sat to eat lunch because you could bring in your own food and stuff. We sat to eat lunch, and that's how we saw him. We must have been in that hallway space there. But yeah, he didn't want anybody looking at him, nothing. And they limited, him or his management or whoever must have really limited the number of people allowed back there. So
worst Batman ever.
I'm not even going to get into that. That's a whole nother video. But and I saw Molly Ringwald was there. I saw her from afar. Hopper from Stranger Things. I can't think of your name off the top of my head. David something?
Oh, man.
He was there. I saw him from far away. A couple of Ninja Turtles were there. A couple of secondary characters. I don't know what she is from Guardians of the Galaxy. The girl with the antenna that can change your mood, I think. Or feelings or something. Anyway, she was there. I saw them from afar. But they weren't priorities for me to get autographs from. So this guy, I went back to twice. He was that cool to chill and hang out with. He even remembered me the second day I went up there. Any of my Gen X generation that has seen Scream will know exactly who this is. And then any millennials or younger generations that have seen Riverdale will know who he is. But he's amazing. And he's a super nice guy. Anyways, this is Skeet Ulrich.
Skeet.
Yes. So we talked about New Mexico because he literally asked a bunch of questions. Like, it was just him and I have a ton of pictures with him because he offered selfies with your cell phone. Very rare that any of them did that. Maybe I'll send a couple of pictures to Corey. So I have pictures with him on my cell phone. I have pictures with Ginny Weasley on my cell phone. I did meet her, but I didn't. Her autographs were super spendy, and I had. She was there on the last day, so I had already spent a lot of money. So I was like, I just want a selfie. It was $60 selfie with the my phone. But maybe I'll have Corey put some of those pictures in there for you. We'll mix them in. All right. He was so nice, and the last day of Comic-Con, it was really light. There wasn't very many people there. I literally walked up, and $50, I got a selfie with Skeet, and we sat there and talked for quite a while because there was no one else waiting. And he was asking me about New Mexico and if it was still nice because he had filmed a movie there a long time ago, and he knew a couple of people that I knew, so we like had a whole conversation, and he was so nice. They were joking around, and it was awesome. The last person I went and saw right before we left, and actually Chris and I and our friends that we met there all went and saw because we all love this dude, and he has done so much cinematic things. Seriously, he's a voice actor, he's an actor, he produces, he writes, like, he does everything. And it's Alan Tudyk. One of my, huge Disney fan, obviously I'm wearing my Monsters University shirt, but my favorite character of his is the flamboyant gentleman he plays on 28 Days with Sandra Bullock. Like, oh my god, I don't think I've ever laughed so hard at a character. So he's been my favorite since I was young. That movie came out, he was my favorite. But he did not have a picture from 28 Days. He didn't have an 8x10 to sign from 28 Days. And so I asked him, I kind of gave him flack for it because he had 3 tables full of 8x10s of characters he's played, because he's in Firefly too. So almost one whole table was Firefly pictures. So I gave him flack, and his wife was his helper. So I'm like, all these 8x10s and no 28 days? And he's like, no. And then his wife like pushes him out of the way and starts talking to me, and she's like, it's on the floor in my living room. We had to pick some to bring with us. And like, she just went off and started. It was so funny. And then he's like, why 28 days? And then of course I had to gush and fangirl out. And I was like, my favorite character, you have the best line of the whole movie and all this stuff. And he's like, do you want to know a secret? And I'm like, yes. And all of us, by this time, Chris is like up next to me, and our friends are right there. And so we are all gathering around. We're like, we want to know a secret. And so he tells us that the ending of 28 Days that ended up on the movie is not the actual ending that was supposed to be there. And he told us what the actual ending to the movie was supposed to be. And I was like, oh my God. Not everybody knows this. This is awesome. I'm not telling you guys. You guys know. I'm sorry. I can't tell you, but it was the best interaction ever. Anyways, here is my autograph because he did not have 28 Days picture. Of course, I had to get Hey Hey, but it was a very tough call because he had this one and then he had King Candy because he's the voice of King Candy in Wreck-It Ralph.
Hey. This is a good choice.
But Hey Hey is awesome because I love Moana. So, like I said, $85 was for all 3 days. Um, the interactions. I found actually a comic book that I absolutely loved, and it was written, drawn, everything by females. I'll have Corey put a picture of it, and then yeah, it was. I mean, I made some great friends and met some great people, and people dressed up like cosplay. There's it was there, one of my favorites. A lot of Doctor Who characters, a lot of gosh, I saw a lot of Incredibles. People dressed up as the Incredibles. A lot of kids as princesses. There was just a ton. Like everybody just had a good time. There was nothing. Like I don't see any negatives to the Denver Pop Culture Con or Comic Con. It was well put together. It was very spread out, so it didn't feel clustered, full of people. There was more than enough time to, see everything and not quite do everything because they do a lot of after hours stuff. Since the Denver Comic Con is nonprofit, family oriented, they had a lot of after hours adult activities. Like they rented out the entire Hard Rock Cafe in downtown Denver and had a bajillion video game consoles and screens. Like you could go there and it was $35. Well, you could go there for free, but if you wanted to, you could pay $35 and you got VIP tickets and you got to go sit like in this little VIP section that was like all comfy sofas and stuff and play video games
Well, that would have been awesome.
all night long. It was open till like 3 or 4 in the morning. Chris and I didn't get to do that. Maybe next time, but it was pretty freaking amazing. I
Awesome.
would do it all over again. Multiple times a year. No, it was so much fun. I can't wait to go back. So, if you guys have any questions, let me know about it down below. If comments, concerns, whatever, let us know.
Likes, dislikes.
Yeah. I know it's kind of long, sorry. But I wanted to tell you about it. So hopefully you hung in there and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.